Ask someone what they're bad at. They'll have a list for you in like 30 seconds. Ask them what they're great at. Watch them go quiet. That's not a confidence problem. It's not a self-esteem issue. That's your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. Your brain wasn't designed to catalog your strengths. It was designed to keep you alive. And for most of human history, staying alive meant spotting danger fast, not sitting around appreciating what you're good at. So it scans constantly. What went wrong? What could go wrong? What you did wrong? What's missing? What needs fixing? Psychologists call it negativity bias. Your brain registers negative information faster, weighs it heavier, and holds on to it longer than positive information of the exact same size. One piece of critical feedback hits harder than 5 compliments. One bad meeting erases a week of wins. That's not weakness. That's just the operating system. And then we build entire systems on top of that wiring. Performance reviews, report cards, development plans, all designed to surface what's wrong, what's missing, what needs work. We took a survival instinct and turned it into a career strategy. So most people spend their entire professional lives trying to close gaps, fixing weaknesses, getting better at the things they're average at, doing the work your brain told you needed doing. And Gallup spent 50 years studying what happens when you do that instead of the opposite. People who use their strengths every day are 6 times more likely to be engaged at work. 6 times. Not 10% more likely. Not slightly more likely. 6 times. Strengths-based development improves performance by an average of 8 to 18%. And weaknesses, with effort, they improve to average. That's the ceiling. Average. Your brain has been sending you in the wrong direction, and you've been following it because it's loud, it's convincing, and really, it never shuts up. I'm Dr. Amber, and this is the work I do, helping people see past what their brain keeps filtering out. Not the version you put on your resume, not the humble brag answer you give in job interviews. Your actual strengths. The ones you've probably been overlooking because your brain never flagged them as important. There's a difference between a coping strength and a signature strength. A coping strength is what you developed because you had to. The environment demanded it. You got good at managing chaos because your household was chaotic. You got good at reading a room because you had to know when things were about to shift. You got good at doing everything yourself because asking for help never worked out. Those are real skills, but they're not necessarily your strengths. They're your armor. A signature strength is different. It's what you naturally gravitate toward, even if nobody needed you to. It's the thing that energizes you instead of drains you. It's what people keep asking you for that you keep brushing off as no big deal. Think about that for a second. What do people consistently come to you for? Not what you're obligated to do. What do they seek you out for specifically? Most people can't answer that without pausing because your brain never told you to pay attention to it. It was too busy keeping a running tab on the other stuff. Peter Drucker, one of the most respectful management thinkers of the last century, said, "Most people don't know what their strengths are. When you ask them, they just stare at you blankly." He said that decades ago. Nothing has changed. So let's actually do something about it. Strengths, they don't live in one place. They show up across different parts of how you operate. And most people, when they think about strengths, they only look in one direction. It's usually professional skills. But that misses most of what's actually there. There are 5 areas worth looking at. And I want you to sit with each one for a second, not just scan past it, okay? Personal energy. This is your internal engine. How you manage your emotions, your resilience, your ability to recover. Not how well you perform under pressure. How well you actually sustain yourself. Where does your energy come from? What depletes it faster than anything else? What rituals or habits genuinely refuel you? If you've never thought of those as strengths, you've been leaving them off the table. Professional edge. What you're actually known for in your work, not what your job description says. What do people come to you for? What problems do you solve that others struggle with? What do you do that gets recognized even when you're not trying to be noticed? There's information there your brain never flagged as significant. Relational power. How you build trust, how you communicate, navigate those hard conversations. This one's almost always undervalued because relational skills feel soft. They're not soft. They're the reason things actually work. Who trusts you and why? What happens in a room when you're in it versus when you're not? Organizational impact. Your ability to see systems, improve processes, influence how things work beyond your immediate role. High achievers often have this one, and they don't name it because it just feels like doing their job. It's not just doing your job. It's a specific way of seeing and operating that not everyone has. Purpose alignment. What drives meaning for you? What you're working toward beyond that next deliverable. What you want to be true about your contribution 5 years from now. This one matters because strengths without direction are just output. Purpose is what makes the output feel worth it. 5 areas, and in each one there are strengths you've been using without realizing they count. So what would happen if you flip it? You've been running a deficit model on yourself your whole life. Your brain gave you a list of what's wrong, and you've been working off that list. The development plans, the self-help books, the goals built around fixing things, all of it pointing at a gap. What would change if you spent the same energy building on what's already working? Not ignoring the weaknesses, not pretending that those gaps don't exist, but leading with what's strong instead of always patching what's broken. Think about it like a phone battery. You spend your whole day running apps that drain it. Or you can figure out which apps actually power the things you need and close everything else. The phone is the same. What you prioritize changes everything about how far it gets you. Your brain will keep defaulting to the deficit. That's not going to change. But you can give yourself a structured way to override it. That's why I built the Strengths Discovery Toolkit. It's a structured process that walks you through all 5 categories with actual prompts, not big questions. You rate yourself, you identify your patterns, and then you build a 90-day action plan around what's already strong, not what needs fixing, what's already there. Because here's what I know from building frameworks. Most people have never sat down and done this. They've done the gap analysis 100 times. They've never done the strengths inventory once. And that's not a character flaw. It's just what happens when you let your negativity bias run your development plan. The toolkit's linked in the description. It's the structured version of what your brain won't do on its own. Here's what I want you to leave with. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. But you're not trying to survive a predator. You're trying to build something. And building something requires a different set of inputs than surviving something. You already have strengths across your energy, your work, your relationships, your impact, your purpose. You've just been too busy fixing the list your brain gave you to notice them. Tell me in the comments, what's one thing people keep coming to you for that you've never thought of as a strength? The Strengths Discovery Toolkit, I'll link that below. And as always, reflect deeply, grow boldly, and refine endlessly. See you in the next one.